let's get gross. You're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. I watch these clips along with you, so you don't have to do it alone. Glad to be here for you. Glad to support. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you, Robin. Thank you for resubscribing, Grant Boy. Thank you, Tosho Live, for the 100 bits. Marcia, thank you for staying a member. How did you get my test donation in the Cash app yet? I believe I did, Marcia. Hold on. Because it doesn't always tell me where from. Hold on. Andrea, thank you so much for the Cash app as well. Yes, Marcia, there it is. Hooray. Daniel, thank you so much for the Cash app. Leslie for the 666. Coretta, thank you so much for your recurring donation to the show. Stephanie, of course, for Chips Catnip. I don't think that's a good idea. I really don't. I mean, I appreciate the offer, but we might have to. Is there a cat sedative I can find? Something? Is there cat mushrooms? All right. So thank you, Stephanie, for that. And then, of course, we've got the Venmo folks today and just recently. Where are we? Kurt, thank you so much. Appreciate it greatly. Steve, thank you so much. Justin, Sarah, Laura Rogers, thank you so much. Robert and Linda Conroy, thank you so much. Just amazing. Oh my gosh, Marcia, thank you so much. That's sweet. You're just testing to make sure it worked. That's very sweet. Thank you so much. Janine, thank you a lot. And Thomas, Major the Second, thank you so much for your super chat. Heather Hoagland, thank you. John, thank you. Annette, thank you. Barbara, thank you. Angela and Regina and Patricia and Mary and Sarah and Aaron and Julie and Robert. There you go. I think I got everybody that I hadn't gotten since last time. Thank you guys for that and for the super chats today as well. James Black and Misty Q and Jonathan says, thanks again, Hal. You have great hair. You made my day. You're welcome. I paid me to take my hair down. Somebody check one of Dan's ears for a light switch lanyard. This bulb is still out. Yes. Yeah. Bongholio is beyond hope, I believe. Robert, thank you. Love you back. And K-Link, thank you for gifting the subs. Amazing. And yeah, there we go. All right. Super chats, support the show, become a Patreon supporter today, patreon.com/HalSparks. There. Look, I did it. I did a full, it's almost like I'm doing my, shut up, Tucker. $90 million a year to do less work than I do. Remember, kids, not how hard you work, it's how smart you work, or how, in his case, how dumb. Let's see. Oh, and sorry, they turned the audio off on these things.
January 6th last year. 2 days after the breach of the Capitol on January 6th last year, Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz appeared on this network to say something that turned out to be completely correct. Gaetz said there is a liberal faction within the Republican Party's leadership.
Yeah, a liberal faction.
That saw January 6th as a way to gain more political power for themselves.
Or saw that the maggots were staging a coup and an attack on our government and went, holy shit, there's a line even I won't cross, as scummy as I am.
Watch.
Well, there's secretly been an
anti-Trump
caucus within the Republican Party in Washington for a while, and I'm concerned that folks like Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger and others might view this as an opportunity.
Gee, you think? Yeah, or here, beyond the word opportunity, how about reason to push back against Trump? Yeah, you know, actually a material piece of evidence that pushing back against him is the proper way to behave, as opposed to excuse.
Well, that turned out to be pressure, and it wasn't just an.
No, it didn't. It was one of the maggots complaining that they realized they were tied to the bullshit. It's not fucking psychic.
Anti-Trump caucus. It was people who were opposed to Trump's voters and their concerns.
No, Trump's voters and their physical attack on our democracy. Concerns? None of this has anything to do with people who watched Trump's stupid speech that day and walked that way.
So just 2 days after Gaetz said that, the House Republican leader, Kevin McCarthy of California, said that Gaetz's remarks were a physical threat because, like a liberal college professor, he believes that words are violence. And then another member of Republican leadership.
Well, no, not like a liberal college professor. If he believes that, like himself. There is no simile necessary.
Steve Scalise of Louisiana suggests that Matt Gaetz had somehow committed a crime. Watch.
The other thing I want to bring up, and I'm making some phone calls to some members. I just got something sent now about Newsmax, something Matt Gaetz said, where he's calling people's names out, saying an anti-Trump in this type of atmosphere. And some of the other places, this is serious stuff people are doing that has to stop.
Okay, what did Gaetz say?
Gaetz brought up Liz specifically. I just saw that on Twitter.
And Adam, someone just sent it. Gonzalez just sent it to me, so I'm calling Gaetz. I'm explaining to him. I don't have much to say, but I'm going to have some other people call him too. But the nature of what, if I'm getting briefing, I'm going to get another one from the FBI tomorrow. This is serious shit. Cut this out.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's potentially illegal what he's doing.
Well, he's putting people in jeopardy, and he doesn't need to be doing this. We saw what people would do in the Capitol.
By the way, Steve Scalise was shot by a politically motivated shooter. So in terms of, and I don't like any of his politics, I think he's roundly full of shit, but in a Gaetz versus Scalise argument about what constitutes, actionable language that might cause somebody to shoot someone, Scalise might have a reason to be slightly concerned.
It's potentially illegal to criticize me? What do you take?
No. The actions themselves, like targeting people.
Taylor Lorenz now? Steve Scalise? What is this?
What is this?
In another recording, Kevin McCarthy
Dude is precious.
He suggests that Twitter should continue to censor Republicans, pull them off the internet. Now, he made that remark in a response to a tweet he didn't like from Alabama Republican Congressman Barry Moore.
He just didn't like it? He thought, what was it, the grammar?
Who was justifiably outraged by the death of Ashley Babbitt.
Oh, he was justifiably outraged. So he was angry that this person was outraged that a woman died in the Capitol that day trying to destroy our democracy. And he was like, this is how bad Trump is. He's ratcheted this up so much that a woman had to die, basically sacrificed her life at the altar of Donald Trump and an affront to our democracy. You mean like that?
Listen.
He tweeted at Marjorie Greene and at NARAL, I understand it was a black police officer that shot the white female veteran. You know, that doesn't fit the narrative.
What? Ow. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
This is what we have to confront with this.
Can't they take their Twitter accounts away, too?
Well, actually, that claim turned out to be completely true, but truth is...
No. It isn't true. The fact that it was a black police officer that shot a white woman, is immaterial to the circumstance. It was not a racially motivated action nor a racially motivated response. The idea that you would take the fact that the races in these meant nothing but turn them into something in an attempt to divide and foment racial violence, and that it was your own caucus that's doing it was the concern. Is it materially true he's black? Yes. Is it materially true she's white? Yes. Did he shoot her because she's white? No. Did she try to break through that window and attack a black man? No. But conflating those two and making them an issue creates the potential for political violence, especially if you are a political leader.
There's no defense. If you irritate the New York Times, Kevin McCarthy would like you pulled off the internet. This is the leader of...
Irritate the New York Times? He's worried that they're going to start a civil war. This had just fucking happened. Trust fund.
Republicans in the House of Representatives. There are a lot of tapes like this. On another tape, McCarthy says he wished Donald Trump would resign.
By the way, I'm also enjoying this because watching them eat each other is kind of fun, but still,
the least of
it's almost like I'm arguing these points out of habit.
his sins. Fox's Bill Melugin asked McCarthy about that. Watch the response. It's amazing.
On a call with House Republican leadership, and you're heard on that audio saying that you've, quote, had enough with President Trump and that you would tell him to his face, it would be your belief that he...
By the way, Lindsey Graham did the same thing on the floor of the Senate out loud, not in a recorded call, literally on the floor of the Senate in his remarks, and still golfs with the dude and gets his ass kissed.
He should resign. Do you still...
By the way, Constantina wire, a lot of it. Just saying. Doesn't seem like the border's very open or porous.
Stand by those comments.
Look, I never told the president to resign. It was a conversation that we had about scenarios going forward.
And regarding that audio tape, you had said the New York Times reporting on it was, quote, false and wrong. Then the tape came out. Did you lie?
No, because what was brought to me is said that I called the president to say that to resign. I never called the president to say resign.
It just kind of came up in the middle.
So the thing is, oh, yeah, okay. That's a lie. One of many. Here's the most...
Well, yeah, he's a liar. He's the head of the Republicans in the House. It's what he does. It's terrible. It's true. I mean, it's all he could do. It's what do you think they're going to do? Run on their plans, their bills, the legal soundness of their arguments for anything that they would attempt to get passed in the House or Senate?
Most depressing fact. So all the Republicans in the House got together today, and McCarthy, Scalise, they did not apologize for what they did.
Nope.
And they got an ovation.
Yeah, it's almost like it's an entire party full of hypocrites who don't give a shit. As long as Trump likes you, you're in.
Applause.
It's like, yeah.
From members of the Republican conference. That's how brainwashed and addicted to McCarthy's money they are.
McCarthy's money?
Gaetz is...
Just because he's in charge of it, he doesn't dole it out.
A Florida congressman, as noted. He was there today. He joins us now.
Yeah, he joins us now. So are you in Georgia? And is she dead? That's all we care
Congressman,
about.
Thanks so much for coming on. So you were accused by Kevin McCarthy, the guy,
of having a head like if Big Boy was a supervillain.
Guy who is in line to be Speaker of the House, of committing an act of violence by giving your opinion.
Yeah, you're just opinion that people stormed the Capitol calling to hang Mike Pence and the vice president, Trump's second, the second highest ranking Republican in the whole fucking country. And you assholes thought it'd be a good idea to tell those very same people who brought a fucking gallows to the Capitol that anti-Trumpers are why this didn't work. And so if we're ever going to have a shot at this again, maybe dust off a couple of those fuckers. That's the inference.
Saying he was against the former president. Like, is speech violence? What do you make of this?
Well, I was just describing the facts. You had a group of people who were going to try to join with Democrats to impeach President Trump, and that is precise.
Right, because of what he did on the 6th. Not because they had policy differences. They all voted 100% with him. What Matt Gaetz and Tucker Carlson are saying is that there is no line Trump can cross. They are in the shoot someone in the middle of Fifth Avenue caucus.
What has played out. You mentioned he's in line to be Speaker. I mean, I don't know that Kevin McCarthy's in line to be Speaker. I don't know if the guy could get an account on Truth Social at this point.
Dude, so good. Slam, ba-boom. I'm just going to enjoy this. I wish I had popcorn.
On the inconsistency between the recordings and what he says to us. And
yeah, it's almost as if, somebody whose behavior is so inconsistent with their public persona, they should just be drummed out of office. Like, I don't know, somebody who pretends to be a America First conservative who drugs teenage girls and human traffics them.
It is debasing for Republicans to give this guy a standing ovation after he smears Trump, lies to the country, and then tries to sick big tech and the DOJ on members of
Yeah, it sounded like he was kidding, by the way, at the end of that.
Congress
but overreaction is the method that they use.
He doesn't agree with, and whose
Tucker still looks confused.
Factual representations are ultimately borne out.
Tucker always looks like he's trying to figure out who farted and whether or not he likes it.
And the crazy thing about this, Tucker, is that it was all done for the sake of protecting Liz Cheney. I mean, at the time, I was protecting President Trump from impeachment, and Kevin McCarthy was protecting Liz Cheney from criticism.
Well, not from criticism, from the danger of the type of people that attacked the Capitol physically attacking her.
And now she is owning them with their own words.
On the idea, he's basically, I guess that's a wink and a nod that she released the tapes, which she says she didn't. I don't care.
And maybe Liz Cheney has done us a favor because now finally you don't have to be a lobbyist with a $5,000 check to know what Kevin McCarthy and Steve Scalise really think.
Yes, I agree. The Republican leadership is complete rot, and you should broom them all. Start from scratch, really. Rename the party. Whigs isn't being used.
You know, I was upfront about the fact that I was going to politically oppose Liz Cheney. I went to Wyoming.
Yes, and then you ratcheted it up more to the point where they were concerned that some of these assholes would try to murder her.
I made my case there.
Well, you didn't make your case. We covered that speech. You were a weenie on the steps.
This notion that
she wasn't even there.
You can have these sniveling calls and try to foment action against Republicans by big tech and the DOJ.
Who says foment that way?
Is not fitting of leadership.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, you can represent Republican voters if you're personally annoyed with Trump. Okay. But you can...
Personally annoyed. Yes, that's what they were. They were personally annoyed that Trump had his supporters charge the steps, bust windows, set up a fucking gallows, and tase a cop till he had a heart attack.
You cannot represent Republican leaders if you're calling on big tech to censor voices who criticize you, and if you're accusing people who criticize you of committing an illegal act of violence, as Steve Scalise did. Now, you saw Scalise today. Did he apologize to you for that?
He said he was sorry if it caused me any problems, but what I said to Steve Scalise is...
What's the fucking nerve of this guy? He gets shot and he thinks he's been through what we've been through.
Is that if you accuse someone of potentially breaking the law, and by the way, he wasn't reacting to something, he raised the prospect of the illegality of my statement that Liz Cheney was anti-Trump. I know I really went out on a limb there, Tucker, but
also that's paraphrased. I'd like to see the actual conversation that they were talking about.
If you accuse someone of breaking the law, you have to say what law you think they broke, and you have to present what evidence.
Well, effectively, his concern was that it was stochastic terrorism, that you were either, as a group, associating her with a group of people that needed to be killed or removed physically, and addressing largely a group you knew to be violent.
You think you have, and if there is no evidence, you need to acknowledge that. And if not, then you're like maintaining this fiction for the sake of your own pride. And
your own pride that you foment.
And that's not what leaders do.
By the way, I'd like to remind you that both of these assholes warn you about elites. His dad's an elected Florida congressperson who's a power broker in Florida, and Tucker Carlson is the Swanson frozen dinner heir.
What you're doing is reading the other side's script. I mean, listen to these guys talk, and they sound like MSNBC contributors. I'm so triggered. He criticized me. That's a crime. We should boot him off. We should censor him. I mean, they're equating speech with violence, calling for censorship, and describing disagreement as a criminal act. How is that not? How are these people not liberals? That's what liberals say. Like what?
Well, their policies and their attacks on women and minorities and trans people and their general, attacks on democracy as an institution. Their desire to limit the right and the ability to vote of all Americans, and of course their isolationist practices that attempt to turn the country into effectively a gated community to which they can exclude anyone they want. That's what keeps them from being liberals. The other parts, they're just being assholes.
What is this?
It's exactly what you are. It's exactly what he is.
Well, you see, I will be the one criticized because people will say this is divisive. We should be unified against.
No, I'm not saying this. It's divisive, sure, but I'm not saying you should be unified. As a matter of fact, I'm enjoying it. Thank you, Matt Gaetz and Tucker Carlson. Thank you.
It's the Democrats.
It's lovely. It's just, please, keep at it.
The problem is the Democrats win if Republicans take power and then think and talk and behave just like the Democrats.
Yeah, exactly. It's so confusing. I mean, that might be the testicle sunburn talking, but yeah, it sounds right to me.
So I'm presenting an alternative vision, and
yeah, that's what I would call it. An alternative to the legal age of consent currently enforced in Florida.
it would be nice if the leadership wasn't the lagging indicator on these things. They were the last ones to realize that Liz Cheney should have been tossed out of leadership. I was out there making the case, and ultimately they caught up. But leaders lead from the front. They're not the lagging indicator.
Leaders don't lead from the front. As a matter of fact, that's why the Russians are getting fucked up. Literally. They have no officer class, so Russia is sending their generals to the front to forward command posts right at the front line, and they're getting killed at a ridiculous clip. The leaders lead from the back. They really do. So they can keep leading instead of just getting shot.
Yeah, you just feel so sorry.
I mean, if you're going to use that metaphor, actually fucking understand it.
For Republican voters, I mean, no one's standing up for them. They're totally exposed. Some are still in jail. And the guy who's supposed to lead them to freedom sounds like a Joy Reid staffer.
The guy who's supposed to lead them to freedom. Why would he lead them to freedom? Why the fuck is it expected that Kevin McCarthy would break people out of jail who attacked the fucking Capitol, beat cops, injured their spines, gouged their eyes, tased them to a heart attack, tried to steal their guns? Why the fuck would Kevin McCarthy have anything to do with it? Why is it understood or assumed that these fuckers have a party? Why is their attack partisan at all? I mean, it isn't when these assholes need to back away from them when they really get called out. But why is the assumption from Tucker Carlson that these people are somehow Republicans? I mean, they're not even there to preserve the republic.
It's very distressing, and
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're distressed. I mean, it must be tough.
Anyway, sorry.
Anyways, it's so much.
Mr. Gaetz, I appreciate your coming on tonight and for your willingness to be open about what you've seen. Thank you.
Open about what he's seen. What has he seen? Text messages? It must be shocking. Are you holding it together? If you need, I mean, sometimes if you need something to clear your head, maybe sit on a fire hose.
Thank you, Tucker.
Thank you, Tucker. That's a new face for Tucker right there. It's like his mouth is doing what his eyebrows do. I mean, that's basically how he should stay. Hold on 1 second. I need to do anybody know the keystrokes for a screenshot on PC? Hold on, I'm going to have to look this up. Screen cap keystrokes PC. I think I have plus print. Oh, there it is. Look, it has an old Windows print screen. Okay, there we go. Got it. Did it just get one of everyone? I suppose. Cool. I think I got it. I don't know where it saves it, but we'll find out later. I'll try it again just in case I don't lose it. Blinked. Okay, good luck. All right, that's the end of the show today, guys. Thank you so much. I would go longer as I did last night, but I'm going to fall over. I'm going to go pass out. I'm exhausted, and I've got to show it in 10 minutes. So I've got to prep and do that, and whatever energy I've got left over, and to be on that for an hour, and then I'm going to collapse. Luckily, it's a call-in. I don't have to be on camera, so wish me luck. I can at least do it like laying down with my headphones in and phone like on my chest. That'll work. I think that's a good plan, right? That's acceptable for an interview, right? I'm going to be on the Liberal Dan show. Hold on 1 second. Let's see if I have this guy right here. Liberal Dan. There we go. It's yeah, he's on Blog Talk Radio. I'm calling in, so I won't be on camera like I said. But let me see if I can bring this up. He's get out of here. It's just Liberal Dan. Just look up Liberal Dan on YouTube and you'll find it. Just calling into his show in a few minutes. He's got me coming in a second. So I will be calling in there in a moment. I will see you guys later. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. You guys are wonderful. I'm exhausted, but I'll still do a good show. And okay, bye.